On the audit immunity, and we're live on MS Now right now, it wasn't signed by the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche. There's nothing binding about this. So why did you settle for something like that when you were so adamant about wanting to break open that settlement and narrow it formally?
Because the settlement agreement could not be changed without the signatures of the parties to the lawsuit, and that did not include Todd Blanche. What he did provide us was an interpretation of the language in a way that constrained and limited the application of that. Number one, said it was retrospective and not prospective. In other words, wouldn't address future claims. And it was limited to the parties to the litigation and not these unrelated associated entities. So a future court, in the event of a hypothetical lawsuit, will have the benefit of that sworn testimony by the Attorney General as to how that document should be interpreted. There's also other lawsuits pending now in Florida and elsewhere on that. It could well be that settlement agreement, that entire settlement agreement, will be held invalid.
But you collapsed like a wet taco anyway. You took the word of a man who said Donald Trump shouldn't be investigated for anything and we should go ahead and give him almost $2 billion to pay his friends. You're just taking the word of this guy in hopes that a future court could prove that it was all invalid anyway. And now you're going to vote to confirm this piece of shit. You're going to move him from acting Attorney General to sitting Attorney General. Even when you get your ass handed to you by your own party. Even when you have nothing to lose. You're still a fucking coward. You're still a spineless fucking coward who refuses to actually serve and benefit the people he represents, but rather is continuously beholden to people like Donald Trump. It's an absolutely grotesque and disgusting display. But now the Republicans are going to go ahead and confirm this fucking guy. And because this guy and the other Republican that were holding out and made Todd Blanche's confirmation impossible, now that both of them have flipped, and because the Republicans can probably rely on the vote of Democrat John Fetterman, then what you're going to see is Todd Blanche move from acting Attorney General to Attorney General. And now we see that Susan Collins up in Maine has already announced that she's going to vote no on this because she can afford to. She can go back to her constituents in Maine and go, I voted no on that. I don't think he should have been Attorney General, because they gave her the cover to do so, to help her win in a seat that I believe she's already going to win anyway. It all set up perfectly for them. Donald Trump told them what to do. They did it. Susan Collins gets to vote no. And you watch. Donald Trump won't say a fucking word about Susan Collins voting no. Won't say a word about her. Because they know that's how it's supposed to go now that they have the votes. Fucking cowards.